Just because your spirit guides might give you feelings of love or profound spiritual encounters or even accurate information that seems to help you in the moment, it doesn't mean that it's actually coming from God. And when I say this, I'm not just saying this as an ignorant Christian who was born and raised as a Christian and never tried these things, never had these kinds of spiritual encounters. I used to have so many, hundreds if not thousands of different encounters with spirit guides for many, many years throughout my life. I even used to help people to find their spirit guides and build a relationship with them. And so I'm not just coming from this as like someone who has no experience with this. You know how some people, when they struggle with certain mental health issues or they're kind of narrow spicy in some sort of way, people will, when they're in a different social setting and they feel kind of uncomfortable, they will emulate certain emotions to fit in with the group, to feel like they're kind of like a normal person, even though they're not actually having a genuine emotional experience. Well, this is pretty similar to what can happen with spirit guides. Spirit guides know how to emulate certain emotions. They also know how to give you certain emotions, because the thing is that entities are very, very ancient. So these different spirits that you're encountering, they have likely been watching you and monitoring your behavior, monitoring your ancestors, getting intel on you, getting information about you for many, many, many years. And sometimes it goes back generations and generations. So they have accurate information on your family, on your life themes that you've been struggling with, and all of these things as well. And they know what kind of emotions you are addicted to, the emotions that you tend towards, the emotions that you struggle with, and the feelings that you desire to experience. So if they can give you a spiritual encounter that feels very strong and profound, that can give you a certain emotion, they will do that so that they hook you in with the emotion that they know that you're desiring to experience. And they will emulate these sorts of, experiences and feelings and, tingles in your body and, these profound like images and visions that you'll have and these downloads that you'll get, and you'll feel all of this love. However, it's an emulation of love. It's like a simulation. It's not actually the real thing. It feels very powerful in the moment because when you have any sort of spiritual encounter, it's going to feel very real. However, that's what also makes us so vulnerable to being deceived by spiritual encounters, is because when you have something that happens to you spiritually, you automatically assume that it must be real. It feels very real. It feels very profound, but they are using that. They know that about us. And so they will use that to capitalize on those things, on those vulnerabilities, on those things that we desire to experience, and give us those experiences to hook us in and draw us further away from the truth. They might even give you accurate information or temporary feelings of healing and euphoria and love and all of these powerful emotions if it means hooking you in a long-term agenda that's designed to pull you away from God. People usually think that demons are just going to show up as like these scary guys with like horns on their head, and they're going to obviously be just full of like scary feelings, and you're not going to feel the love. You're going to feel fear and torment and depression and all of this stuff, and it's automatically going to be super obvious that it's a demon. But that doesn't really sound like the smartest agenda for a demon to use. It sounds like a much better strategy for a demon to masquerade as an angel of light, to masquerade as your spirit guide, to even masquerade as your dead ancestor in order to get you to fall into an agenda that is designed to pull you away from the truth. Demons do not play fair. They will masquerade and shapeshift. I know a lot of you know about shapeshifting spirits. Well, spirit guides are shapeshifters. They can shapeshift into whatever it is. They can masquerade in whatever way they decide is advantageous for their agenda to get you to pull away from ever needing Jesus, ever needing God, and ever finding the truth. Because the thing about these spirit guides is that they always pull you away from the biblical Jesus. They will feed your ego. They will tell you things about you being a light worker, about you being here on a divine mission to save the planet. They will give you information that makes you feel so wise. They will give you feelings of euphoria and waves of tingles going through your body. They'll give you visions that feel very profound. They'll give you all of the stuff that is designed to fuel your ego and to make you feel special, and to also pull you away from ever realizing that Jesus is actually the one that you need. Because the thing is, you guys, is that Jesus is actually the one that can set us free, that can give us true feelings of love, that can actually teach us what love even is to begin with in ways that is so far beyond these very intense spiritual encounters that may emulate the feeling of love, but it's not actually the real substance of love. It's not true love. And if you're listening to me right now and you're like, this girl's crazy, this is so stupid, like how could she possibly think this? Just remember, I have years and years, thousands upon thousands of experiences with spiritual encounters like this with my different spirit guides that I used to have. And the thing is that really struck me was when someone asked me, have you ever considered that your spirit guides could lie to you? And how do you know that they're not lying to you right now? And I want you to really sit with that for yourself as well. How do you know? How do you know that your spirit guides are not lying to you? They will basically just tell you whatever it is that's designed to play on your emotions, play on your traumas to get you to think that it's real. But how do you actually know that it's truly real? If they can monitor you, they can monitor you and get information that seems accurate in the moment, but they could be using that as an agenda to lie to you and further deceive you and pull you away from the truth. And how do you actually know that they are who they say that they are? Just because they appear to be a certain way doesn't mean that that's actually their true spiritual nature. And if you're starting to question that, if you're starting to wonder and you're listening to this and you're like, I've never actually questioned who my spirit guides actually are, I've always just kind of blindly accepted whatever they tell me, then I encourage you to tell them to reveal themselves in the name of Jesus. And bring up Jesus, bring up the biblical Jesus to them and ask them what they think about him. And if they, get angry, if they pull you away, if they're like, no, don't go there, the Bible's bad, the biblical Jesus is bad, that's something to question, because there's a reason for that. There's a reason that they are threatened by the presence of Jesus in your spiritual journey. And it's because if you find the truth about Jesus, you will rip the veil off of your eyes and you will see the truth about who these entities actually are. They're not actually your spirit guides. They are demons, and they are incredibly threatened by the name of Jesus. And so when you put your faith in Jesus and you have a genuine curiosity about I really want to know who Jesus is, and I am curious to figure that out, not using his name as an incantation of just I said Jesus and nothing happened. You have to genuinely have faith in him and have a curiosity about him that is really with a true open-heartedness. And when you do that, you may be very surprised to see how your spirit guides react to that journey. So please take all of this to heart. If you want someone to talk to about this, please feel free to message me.